The Lunex Technologies annual charity gala was meant to be perfect. Crystal chandeliers flooded the ballroom with golden light. The marble floor reflected designer gowns, polished shoes, and the confidence of people who ruled industries with a single decision. Journalists smiled, investors whispered numbers, and cameras captured every flawless moment. At the center of it all stood Elena Voss. 33, billionaire, untouchable. Her ice blue gown matched the calm authority in her eyes. She had built Lunex from nothing into a global tech empire. Tonight, she had just announced that the gala had raised over $3 million for children's education. Applause followed her everywhere. Everything was under control until the scream came. It cut through the music like glass shattering. A raw, terrified scream. Conversation stopped mid-sentence. Heads turned. The orchestra fell silent. Near the chocolate fountain, a small figure stood frozen. Penny Voss, 7 years old, blind since birth. Her small hands flew to her ears as if she could shut the world out. Voices echoed too loudly. The marble floor bounced every sound back at her. Perfumes mixed into something suffocating. Laughter without faces. Noise without meaning. No, no, no. Her voice climbed higher with every breath. Elena moved instantly, heels clicking sharply against the marble, but panic was faster. Penny's legs gave out. She collapsed onto the floor, her body shaking violently as sobs ripped through her chest. 300 of the city's most powerful people watched in stunned silence. The first nanny rushed forward, pressing Penny's favorite stuffed bear into her hands. "It's okay, sweetheart, Mr. Buttons is here." Penny screamed louder and knocked it away. The second nanny tried sensory toys, soft, textured, familiar. "Remember these, Penny? Get away!" Penny cried, thrashing blindly. Whispers rippled through the crowd. The third nanny suggested the quiet room, speaking softly, carefully. Nothing worked. Then a specialist stepped in, trained, confident, calm. "Breathe with me, Penny, in through the nose." For one fragile second, the screams slowed. Hope flickered. Then the panic exploded again, louder than before. Elena felt her chest tighten. She had handled hostile takeovers, market crashes, betrayals, but this destroyed her. Her daughter was drowning in fear, and she couldn't save her. Cameras shifted. Guests exchanged looks. Tomorrow's headlines were already forming. That's when a service door opened at the edge of the ballroom. A man stepped inside. A janitor. The janitor hesitated at the edge of the ballroom. His name was Wade Kent, 36 years old, wearing a uniform that made people look through him, not at him. He wasn't supposed to be there. His radio crackled earlier. "All maintenance staff hold positions. Do not enter the main hall." He had obeyed until the scream reached him through the thick service doors. That scream wasn't noise. It was terror. Wade's hands tightened around the handle of his cleaning cart. His chest felt heavy, like something old and buried had suddenly woken up. 4 years ago, he had heard that same sound. 4 years ago, he had been too late. He told himself to stay invisible, to walk away, to do his job and disappear like always. But his feet moved on their own. Gasps followed as he stepped into the ballroom. A security guard moved toward him, confused, annoyed. "Sir, you can't." "Please," Wade said quietly. "Let me try." The guard hesitated. The room was already broken. Nothing left to lose. Wade dropped to his knees beside the screaming child. Penny's whole body was rigid. Her fists hit the air. Her breath came in sharp, painful bursts. Wade leaned close, not touching yet, and whispered, "Hey, I know it's too loud. I won't surprise you." Her screaming stuttered. Slowly, he asked the words he hadn't spoken in 4 years. "Can I play you a song?" Penny's hands froze. She turned her face toward the sound of his voice, blind eyes searching. Then carefully she reached out. Her fingers found his sleeve. She held on. Wade followed her grip to the piano. A grand black instrument sat under the chandeliers, decorative, untouched, expensive. He hadn't touched a piano in 4 years. His hands trembled as he helped Penny onto the bench beside him. 300 people watched, holding their breath. Middle C rang out. "Clear, clean." Something inside Wade shattered. The melody that followed wasn't for the crowd. It wasn't impressive. It was intimate. A lullaby. The song he wrote for his son. As the notes flowed, Penny's breathing slowed. Her shaking stopped. She smiled wide and real. The music vibrated through the bench, through her body, through the darkness she lived in. She felt safe. Tears streamed down Elena Voss's face. She knelt on the marble floor, forgetting the world, watching a janitor do what wealth, power, and experts could not. When the final note faded, silence filled the room. Then Penny laughed. "It feels like flying," she whispered. And in that moment, Wade realized something terrifying and beautiful. The music hadn't died with his son. It had been waiting. The applause didn't come immediately. For a heartbeat, the room stayed frozen, as if everyone was afraid that clapping might break. Whatever miracle had just happened. Then the sound exploded. Not polite applause, not business applause, real shaken emotional applause. People stood. Some wiped their eyes. Others stared at the man at the piano like they were seeing a ghost. Wade barely noticed. Penny had wrapped her arms around his neck, holding him like she was afraid the music might disappear if she let go. "That was beautiful," she said softly. "Can you play again?" Wade swallowed hard. His chest burned. "Maybe another time," he whispered. Elena stepped closer. The billionaire CEO, who never showed weakness, was crying openly now. "Thank you," she said. "You saved my daughter." Wade gently helped Penny stand. The weight of the moment hit him all at once. The crowd, the cameras, the whispers. He had made himself visible, and visibility was dangerous. "I should go back to work," he said quietly. Penny's fingers tightened around his hand. "Please don't disappear." Those words nearly broke him. 3 days passed. Elena Voss returned to boardrooms, contracts, and power plays, but the melody followed her everywhere. She couldn't forget his hands, or Penny's smile. She ordered a quiet background check. Wade Kent, maintenance staff, night shifts, no music history listed. It didn't make sense, so she went looking for him herself. She found Wade in an executive hallway, emptying trash bins with calm precision. "Mr. Kent," she said. He looked up, surprised, then guarded. "I want to thank you properly," Elena said. "Coffee?" Wade hesitated. "I'm not that man anymore," he replied. Elena knelt beside Penny's wheelchair later that night and asked, "Would you like to learn piano?" Penny smiled. "Yes, but only if he teaches me." And somewhere deep inside Wade, a door he had locked for 4 years began to open. Wade didn't accept the offer right away. He stood in Elena's private music room days later, staring at the piano like it might hurt him if he touched it again. Penny sat beside it, small hands resting on her lap, waiting patiently. "You don't have to play," she said softly. "Just sit." So he did. That night he played again, not for a gala, not for applause. Just for a little girl who listened with her heart. Weeks passed, then months. Penny's panic attacks became fewer. Music gave her a map through the darkness. Each lesson wasn't about perfection, it was about trust. One evening, Wade finally told Elena the truth. About Caleb, about the accident, about how music died the day his son did. Elena listened without interrupting. When he finished, she said, "You didn't lose music. You protected it." Lunex later funded a quiet program, music therapy for blind and sensory-sensitive children. Wade never wanted his name on it, but Elena insisted on one thing. The first room would carry a simple plaque, for the children who hear the world differently. On Penny's first recital night, she played the lullaby. The same song. Wade stood in the back, tears streaming. As Penny smiled and said into the microphone, "This song saved me." And Wade finally understood. Some songs don't end. They wait until the right heart listens. Penny's fingers rested on the piano keys, confident now, steady. The child who once screamed in fear now found peace in sound. Wade stood quietly behind her, no longer invisible, no longer running from pain. Elena watched them both and realized something powerful. Success means nothing if you can't save the people you love. That night wasn't just about music. It was about not giving up. Because sometimes the person who saves you isn't powerful. They're patient. They're broken. They've suffered too. And sometimes the thing you buried to survive